Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, April 11th, 2023. It is 8:46 in the morning. Okay, this is part 9 of Theodore Rex's Prologue. Thousands of people were milling on the platform of Exchange Street, Station Buffalo, when Roosevelt's train approached at 1:30 p.m. But the engineer, obeying security instructions, did not slacken speed. He continued west at full steam. 4 minutes later, the train drew up at Terrace Station, where a private carriage and 12 mounted policemen stood, waiting in the sunshine. Roosevelt was down the step of his car before the wheels stopped rolling. An hour's rest had cleared the tiredness from his face, but his eyes were troubled. Some onlookers shouted, "Hurrah for Teddy!" He silenced them with a glare and climbed into the waiting carriage. One of the policemen reached after him. "Colonel, will you shake hands with me?" Roosevelt recognized and briefly embraced a veteran of his regiment. Within 30 seconds, the cavalcade was on its way. Roosevelt's companion in the carriage was Ansley Wilcox, a Buffalo friend who had put him on an earlier, happier visits. Wilcox suggested that they go to his home at 641 Delaware Avenue for a quick lunch. McKinley's body, attended by a quorum of the cabinet, lay in the Milburn house, 1 mile further uptown. The cavalcade moved too fast for crowds to form, so the sidewalks of Delaware Avenue were practically empty when they reached number 641. Roosevelt remembered the Wilcox Mansion as one of the Buffalo's most elegant houses, but today its white pillars were hideously swathed in black drapes, blinded every window, and veils of fading wisteria hung from the walls like widow's weeds. Averting his gaze, he hurried inside. Over lunch, he said that he had decided where he wanted to be sworn in. Here. Wilcox protested that arrangements had been made to hold the ceremony at the Milburn house, in a room below McKinley's corpse. "Don't you think it would be far better to do as the cabinet has decided?" Roosevelt was adamant. No, it would be far worse. He would go there, he said, only to pay his respects. First, he must make himself presentable. By a fortunate coincidence, Wilcox was of similar size and build, so Roosevelt was able to borrow a frock coat, waistcoat, and striped trousers. His bull-like neck presented no problem, as he had brought a fresh shirt and collar. The Rooseveltian head, however, proved too large for any of Wilcox's tall silk hats. John S. Scatcherd, a macrophiliac neighbor, entered the annals of history by lending his own capacious topper. A satin tie, fine with chain, gloves, and gold-topped cane, completed Roosevelt's furnishings. Bootblacks polished away the last traces of Adirondack mud from his person, and he emerged onto the porch at 2:30, lustrous from head to foot. Even now, the only spectators in Delaware Avenue were 2 platoons of mounted police, a knot of reporters, a teenage girl. Roosevelt exploded with rage at the sight of the troopers. "I told you I did not want an escort," he roared at the state inspector general. He was clearly overwrought and had to be coaxed to accept a few troopers around his carriage. 2 swelling cries of "Roosevelt is coming! Roosevelt is coming!" The carriage sped north to Milburn House. He jumped out in precipitate fashion, then, recollecting himself, advanced across the lawn with bowed head. The dapper figure of George Bruce Cortelyou, McKinley's secretary, came out to meet him. Roosevelt removed his hat. They talked gravely for a few seconds. Cortelyou, whose normally sleek, 40-ish features were ravaged with grief and exhaustion, explanation that an autopsy was being performed upstairs. Roosevelt would not be able to see the body. Miss McKinley was too prostrated to receive him. Senator Hanna was now to be seen. He had limped off, mumbling something about possible misconstruction if he attended the inaugural ceremony. Secretaries Hay and Gage were in Washington looking after the government. The rest of the cabinet was waiting in the parlor. Hat in hand, Roosevelt followed Cortelyou inside. Okay, so that is all for Part 9, Prologue. Theodore Roosevelt. Theodore Rex. Oh. Thank you for watching.